Hey, welcome back! Today I would like to talk about Shakespeare's The Tempest, and specifically about Ariel's Freedom Song, which shows up in Act 5, Scene 1 of the play. Now, to provide a little context, Ariel is the fairy spirit that Prospero uses to do all of his magic throughout the play. Ariel does most of the major big magical events here. He sets the storm that causes the ship to be wrecked on the island. He enchants the various enemies of Prospero over and over again throughout this play, and then he just runs various errands for Prospero. In the entire play, Ariel has been asking for his freedom. Prospero has made him an indentured servant for a certain amount of time because he freed Ariel from a binding in a pine tree. Sycorax, the witch, had bound Ariel, and Prospero had freed Ariel, and so then Ariel owed Prospero a debt, and so he's been doing his magical bidding ever since. But he's been waiting for the day where his freedom will finally come, and that's one of the tensions that runs through this play, is that all of the characters are seeking power, or holding on to their position. And Prospero is in an interesting position here, because he's holding Ariel's power, and he is controlling Ariel, and he has promised Ariel's freedom, but we're uncertain until the very end of the play, and in some interpretations, even at the end of the play, whether he's really going to make good on his promise and let Ariel go. Having control over other people is an important theme in this entire play, and I've discussed that theme at length in another video. You can watch that if you like. You can click the card or in the description below. But Ariel always longs for his freedom. And now, as he has nearly finished all the jobs that Prospero has for him, we have this sense that maybe Ariel will finally be free. And in fact, as Ariel helps Prospero to transform from his magical island self back into his old Duke self, when he was formerly the Duke of Milan, he's now trying to look like his old self so that his enemies, who he has captured and enchanted, charmed in front of him in this magic circle, will recognize him when he awakes them. And Ariel has sung throughout this entire play. I put up analyses of his other songs elsewhere on YouTube. And there are times that it seems that he's singing for Prospero, but most of the time he seems to almost be singing for himself. And although this moment may seem like Ariel entertaining his master as he helps his master to dress, the song is very centered on Ariel and Ariel's freedom. This is Ariel's Freedom Song. It's one of the most notable and beautiful of the whole play, so let's look at it now. Where the bee sucks, there suck I. In a cowslip's bell I lie. There I couch when owls do cry. On the bat's back I do fly after summer merrily. Merrily, merrily shall I live now, under the blossom that hangs on the bough. Almost the entire song is a description of the kind of natural places where Ariel can cavort and play. Drinking the nectar like the bees, lying in the cowslip's bell, the flower, flying on the bat's back, and overall all of it done merrily, merrily. But the climax of the song is the end. Merrily, merrily shall I live now, under the blossom that hangs on the bough. Again, the continued natural imagery, but I shall now live merrily. That seems to be a clear indication, a response to the idea of freedom. Finally being autonomous, no longer being under Prospero's control, answering to Prospero's every whim. Ariel will have the island to himself now and be free to be his whole self, and to no longer be a servant. The nature imagery can also be easily compared to some of the other songs about fairies in Shakespeare, particularly those in Midsummer Night's Dream, where the fairies seem very, very small. They're capable of riding on the back of a bat, or hiding inside of a flower, and connected with all of those natural things. There's nothing about civilization or community here. It is pure commune with nature. And notice it follows all of the natural parts of life. There's the eating portion, sucking the nectar from the flowers as the bees do. There's the places of rest, lying in the cowslip's bell, couching when the owl cries, so sleeping through the night when the owls are crying around. But then Ariel discusses riding on the bat as he flies after summer, demonstrating the kind of play he's going to do with his freedom. He will pursue the summer. He will drink the sweetness of the nectar, he will rest and listen to the owls cry, and he will fly after summer. Now, summer is a season that we associate with a lot of things, but it's frequently associated with the height of life, the peak of life. As opposed to the fading autumn or the nascent spring, summer seems to be the prime. And so Ariel finally has a chance to live his best life. There's also the repetition of merrily. First, it's an adverb describing how he flies after summer. I do fly after summer merrily. But then the next sentence begins with merrily, merrily, shall I live now. And so it's almost as though that first merrily then blossoms into the second and third merrily. Merrily, merrily, merrily. It just grows. Things are often emphasized in threes to emphasize completeness or wholeness. In other words, Ariel will now be completely happy and will truly be embracing life now that he is free, under the blossom that hangs on the bough. Prospero takes this song and responds to it by saying, "Why, there's my dainty Ariel. I shall miss thee, but yet thou shalt have freedom." And so he reaffirms the gift of freedom to Ariel, but he also says, I shall miss thee. And we can see that he'll miss Ariel, not in just a sentimental way, but more in the sense that without Ariel, Prospero is a much smaller person. Ariel's power is what truly gives Prospero his power, at least in great part. And there is a sense towards the end of the play that perhaps Prospero cannot let go of Ariel, because without Ariel, what is Prospero? He has to have the rest of life aligned for him before he can let go of his control over the situation, which includes setting Ariel free. It's also well worth comparing this song to Caliban's freedom song, when Caliban chooses to be out from under the rule of Prospero. Caliban is the slave of Prospero. He's a monster and has been enslaved by Prospero because of their complicated history. Both freedom songs reflect on the joy of freedom and the desire to be out from under the rule of a very controlling master. Although Ariel's song is much more poetic and beautiful, Caliban's has its own sentiment and can affect the viewer in its own pathetic kind of way. If you'd like to see my notes over Caliban's song, you can click to watch that, or to watch another video. Or you can click to go to my Patreon page, where I have resources to help you out with Shakespeare songs, as well as sometimes Shakespeare plays and other books. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.